What did you say about my mother? Hello and welcome to the Fantasy Survival Guide. My name is Mage and today I'm reviewing the Epic Armory Helmet. Specifically, I believe it's called the Ready for Battle Helmet and it cost around $60. It is touted as for LARP and for reenactment. This is a very interesting and cheap style of helmet and I bought it because it was pretty cheap for a helmet and fit the kind of thing I was looking for. I have done some modifications to it. Coming out of the box, it is just the helmet. This is a padded coif I bought for elsewhere. However, when it first arrived, it had a lovely, lovely foam lining that made it fit so well. Right out of the box, nothing else needed. This fit perfectly. Additionally, this little strap right here is not necessary. It was a tight enough fit, it kind of just held on. If you do a lot of physical activity, I would recommend wearing it, but it is not necessary if you're just going for the look. I did do a few modifications. First off, I did remove the padded cushion on the inside. I want to take it out so I could use a padded arming cap. This I kind of forgot where I bought it from, but it is pretty good, even if it is polyester on the inside. But that's not what this is about. Additionally, I also gave it a paint job. This is a lovely blue color, as well as some actual gold paint. I took this helmet to Reckoning, and I only used it like a total of twice, but when I did, it worked fantastic. It held on tight, I didn't have any issues. It has also collected a tiny bit of rust. To be fair, Reckoning was also full of mud and a little tornado, so I might give it a pass for that. But it did happen, and as long as you take care of it, it should be okay. Because of all, this is a pretty decent deal for $60. If you're using it just for reenactment or for any sort of LARP, I would recommend this. Now on the website, it says this is steel and is 1 millimeter thick. It is held up against pretty much anything I've thrown at it so far, but today I am going to do some destructive testing with my friend Jeff. Recently, I just recorded my Amazon chainmail video, so please check that out. Anyway, thanks Jeff for helping me out again. You are going to help me test this and make sure it's worth. There's not really much to test with a helmet. I did a test yesterday of me climbing a tree and it worked fantastically well, didn't have any issues. And with this specific style helmet, there was really no visual issues. It's pretty much open, which might be to your detriment if something's coming at your face. So the only thing really to test is see how well it survives. Try. Oh. Yep. Immediately like that, there was a dent. It didn't penetrate through. It did not penetrate through. I kind of expected that. It is, again, $60. Oh, really? Oh, shoot, really? That was a very hard strike, and it did have a little bit of indentation, but not by much. Not by much at all. Yep, that was an indentation right there. Yep, gave it another dent. That was the sword famine though. Yeah, swords fan pretty well. Oh. There was the tiniest bit of a chip. This is gonna strike. Let's do some light strikes. Yeah, that was significant right there. Yeah, that split part of the metal. It's not go to the inside. It's just kind of, I think I hit it in the exact same spot twice. So it's kind of like a ridge. There's two sharp pedal bits. I'll have to sand that down for the next event. But there's not really that much significant damage. Now, that wasn't full power with sword, but it was quite typical of what you see in a fight, of that kind of reserved carefulness. It was no means weak strikes. So that is kind of impressive for having just these dents. Now, before I fall out destroy this thing with the axe and the hammer, I'm gonna do one more thing. This is the mightiest weapon of all, the fish. I do have my dagger. I don't think this is gonna do so much. I can do a few strikes, just chipping the paints off. Oh, it did damage the leather a little bit. again. I made a smiley face by accident. Ooh, oh shoot! That is it's not by far, but it's one of the deepest ones. This little stab right here. Yeah, it went through. The tip is a bit flattened on the dagger, but I kind of expected that. That is perfectly reasonable, and I can fix that later. Now, before I destroy it with the axe and the hammer, which I'm pretty much guessing is going to happen, the main people that are looking to buy this are not going to be using it in this method at all, and I do not recommend that. This is not weighted thick enough to protect you from most sorts of damage. If you're going to be doing bow hurt or any sort of heavy armored combat, I think the minimum is like 12 to 8 gauge. This is 1mm, which I think is 18 gauge. This is not weighted thick enough whatsoever, but the main people looking to buy this are probably going to be reenactors or LARPers. For reenactors, if you are using steel weapons, again, I don't think it's going to work unless you're doing particularly like stage combat of not actual strikes, more flair and holding back on your punches. I think it'll do fine. I think we get it for 60 bucks for a small short film. Yeah, probably work. For LARPers, I think it'd be perfect. That's what I've used it for. And just to say, just show it, test it out. Yeah, hitting with the stuff, it is fantastic. And is actually good for the fact that it's not going to damage the blade. I'm hesitant using this because this is definitely going to damage. This thing did so well against the chainmail. How this helmet is designed is since it's so angled, the strikes are supposed to fall off to the edges. So when I strike this, it's probably going to go off to the side, and I'm going to make sure my leg is not in the way of that. That's cool. It actually scraped a bit of the metal and like bent it over. All right, I'm gonna aim here. Yep, that's by far the deepest. To be fair, I expected with that for it to get through. I think with a couple hammer hits, I think it'll be okay. Mostly back to normal. Okay, I'm actually curious. I did want to do this, but I want to hit it with the hammer now just to get the feedback. All right, one last strike. If anything's gonna break it, it's gonna be this. It survived! It survived! That was not full power, but it was decently close, and it survived. To be fair, if this was straight against your head, this would definitely crack the skull. But if you're wearing padded coif like you should, or anything else, yeah, you'll probably survive that. All right, I gotta say, this thing actually surprised me. It has actually held up more than I thought. I was also worried about the little weld markers going on in, because this is manufactured. But none of the welds seem to be damaged. Yeah, it worked. It worked great. I probably need to file some of the edges, maybe with some sandpaper, just to make sure it's not going to damage anyone's foam sword. But yeah, it works. So yeah, all in all, I'd say, yeah, I'd recommend it. For $60, getting a 18 gauge steel helmet that works well, is completely modifiable. Whether we're moving a cushion, add your own padded coif, painting, or doing whatever have you. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching this video. Praying you all have a good day. God bless your adventures.